Chapter 401. Why are you only telling me this now? What a bag! Of course it was Mason, who had been keeping watch, who first noticed the black bag. Meow. I'm drawn to it, meow. Next, Theo, who had been receiving pets on Sejun's lap, spotted the black bag. Thud, thud, thud. Theo quickly ran over and grabbed the black bag, then. Chairman Park, take this, meow. It's something good, meow. He handed it to Sejun. And then, pew hut, pew hut. Rubbing his head against Sejun's knee, he basked in happiness. Bag of the legendary merchant wandering the 9 towers. 9 towers. In the meantime, Sejun checked the options of the bag with an extraordinary name. Bag of the legendary merchant wandering the 9 towers. This bag was created in the promotion test of the Black Towers merchant. Materials used include the scales of the great black dragon, a branch of the world tree, a red bone, the staff of calamity, and a tail feather of the phoenix. Made from the scales of the great black dragon, it is sturdy, and thanks to the branch of the world tree with excellent recovery properties, the bag has an enormous capacity. Through the bag, you can randomly go to a floor of one of the 9 towers every 30 days. Only the owner of the bag, legendary merchant Park Theo, can move, and 1 trillion tower coins are automatically consumed every 30 days to connect to another place. If you want to change the connected place, you can spend 500 billion tower coins to change the place. The place can be changed up to 5 times within 30 days. Bound to the legendary merchant Park Theo. Usage restriction. Legendary merchant, magic power above 10,000. Creator, god of. Grade. What? It connects to other towers. Does that mean exchange with other towers is possible? Vice Chairman Theo, try opening this. All right, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo opened the bag, revealing only a space for putting things inside. Meow, it's really spacious, meow. Chairman Park, give this to me, meow. Theo spoke in an excited voice, while inserting his front paw inside it and waving it around. That's already yours. Pew hut, I knew Chairman Park would give it to me, meow. Thanks, meow. Theo, misunderstanding Sejun's words, even thanked him as he received the bag. All right, take this for now. When Sejun handed 1 trillion tower coins to Theo. Meow, shall I burn this, meow? Theo immediately tried to burn the money. No. Sejun hastily stopped Theo. Put the money into the bag. Got it, meow. As Theo put the money into the bag. Wung. The bag glowed red. And then, Chairman Park, the bag says it's connected to another tower, meow. Really? Then try putting your front paw in. Got it, meow. Following Sejun's instructions, Theo put his paw in. How is it? I feel something, meow. It's wet, meow. What is this, meow? Feeling an unpleasant wetness, Theo put his face into the bag, where a giant centipede had his paw in its mouth. Of course, thanks to Theo's talent, strong hair, it wasn't bitten. Meow. Theo dealt with the centipede that dared to try and eat his paw. Meow, but where is this, meow? Putting his whole body into the bag, Theo looked back. That's the entrance I came from, meow. Behind, just like in the Black Tower, he could see the entrance of the bag. It seemed like the bag could be opened and closed. And then, current location, 72nd floor of the Purple Tower. Connection will be cut off in 29 days, 23 hours 58 minutes. Above the bag, the location and remaining time were displayed. Pew hut, I should let Chairman Park know, meow. With excited steps, Theo went back into the bag. But then, you have been exposed to a deadly poison. He. As soon as Theo came out of the bag, Sejun collapsed. The Purple Tower is inherently filled with poisonous air. Meow. Theo's fur was covered in poison, just from staying in the Purple Tower for a short while. Kyung. Dad passed out again. It smells like poison. Kyungi quickly pulled out the detoxifying green onion from the snack pouch and fed it to Sejun. Cure poison. Yona hurriedly used magic to detoxify the poison on Theo's fur. MMM. As Sejun came to his senses. Gulp gulp. Mason was also drinking an antidote. The bag is connected to the 72nd floor of the Purple Tower. That's right, meow. All right. We'll have to think a bit more about how to use the bag. Got it, meow. Chairman Park should think a lot, meow. Sure. Inner peace. Sejun calmed his urge to grab and stretch Theo's chubby cheeks as he rubbed his face against Sejun's knee. I'll let it slide today. There was something more important at the moment. Since Theo had become a legendary merchant, Sejun planned to throw a party to celebrate it. Today, Chairman Park is treating. Ring the golden bell. TL. Ring the golden bell is an idiom which is using to like when winning a bet or to say when someone won a competition or test. Legendary merchant Vice Chairman Theo, wait here. Sejun told Theo to wait in the chairman's office for the surprise party. Meow, no way, meow, I'm going together, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo clung tightly to Sejun's knee. But, no, wait. All right, meow. Legendary merchant Vice Chairman Theo will wait here, so you have to come back quickly, meow. He let go of Sejun's knee, looking gloomy at Sejun's firm words. I'll be back in an hour, guys, let's go. With that, Sejun left with Kyungi and Iona to prepare for the party. By the way, Theonim, who exactly is that Park Sejun person? Mason asked Theo. Considering his immense reputation, the vast sums of money, and the 1,000 great black dragon scales he easily took out, he didn't seem like an ordinary existence. He had never heard of anyone named Park Sejun. Meow, didn't I tell you, meow? Park Sejun is Chairman Park, and Chairman Park is the Great Black Dragon, meow. What's the Great Black Dragon? Why are you only telling me this now? Recalling his disrespectful attitude earlier when he thought Sejun had no reputation, Mason looked at Theo with eyes full of resentment. If the Great Black Dragon got angry and thought, come to think of it, that guy's attitude earlier was annoying, he was as good as dead. As Mason trembled in fear. Vice Chairman Theo, let's go. Sejun called out to Theo as he finished getting ready for the party. Got it, meow. At Sejun's call, Theo hurriedly ran over and hugged Sejun's knee tightly. As Sejun left with Theo, phew, Mason let out a sigh of relief. At that moment, aren't you coming along? I'm treating, you know. Sejun peeked through the door and asked Mason. I'm coming. Mason followed Sejun out like a lamb being dragged to the slaughterhouse. Phew, this is troublesome. Apostle of the Creator God, Emilia Ibeen sighed. What should I do about the young farmer of the Black Tower? Emilia's concern was Sejun. Sejun had come the closest to solving the tasks left by the Creator God, and it wasn't just one or two. Sejun was directly connected to all of them. However, he's too weak. Sejun was too weak to carry out the tasks. She was worried if he could handle what lay ahead. But there was no one as capable as Sejun to replace him. I'll have to support the young farmer of the Black Tower while monitoring the situation, but how should I support him? Emilia pondered how to help Sejun and thought of someone who could assist him. Where is Patrick, the god of Earth, right now? Emilia began searching for Patrick's location. As Sejun left the headquarters of the Wandering Merchant Association, Kyungi grew larger and lifted Sejun onto his front paw. And as they entered the city, wow, legendary merchant Park Theo. Wow, congratulations on becoming a legendary merchant. The city was filled with crowds celebrating Theo's achievement of becoming a legendary merchant. Sejun rented out all the restaurants on the shopping street today and made it so people could eat and drink for free. When Iona did a single kaiwo, everyone actively cooperated. Pew hut, you are mistaken, meow. This great one is the subordinate of the great black dragon, the deadly dragon-clawed golden cat, legendary merchant Theo Park, meow. Quickly inflated with pride from the crowd's cheers, Theo shouted loudly. Yea, long live the subordinate of the great black dragon, deadly dragon-clawed golden cat, legendary merchant Theo Park. At Theo's shout, the crowd repeated Theo's words and shouted enthusiastically. But why do they sound so desperate? They're going to get to eat something delicious afterward. While Sejun was puzzled by the impassioned cries. Thud, thud. Giant Kyungi slowly began a parade through the city. After making a full round of the city, Pio, Theonim, congrats on becoming a legendary merchant. Congratulations. Keikaki. Congratulations from me too. Piat and Urin appeared with Phoenix. Phoenix had arrived discreetly thanks to an invisibility spell cast by Yona, allowing it to move from the 70th to the 75th floor of the tower without being detected, and it was now hiding in Grainier Village. And Piat and Urin had been with Phoenix. No trouble coming here. Pio? Nope. Piat answered Sejun's question. At that moment, thud thud. Kyung. Dad, we've arrived at the restaurant. Kyungi set Sejun and his party down on the rooftop of the largest restaurant in the shopping street, and then shrank back to his normal size. As the group sat at the table on the rooftop, chefs who had been waiting in advance brought out dishes to the table. Puhuhud. Kyuhiha. Kaikilahid. Kaiwat kaiwat kaiwat. Pili. Yuhiha. Sejun and his party enjoyed the food and the party. But how did Urin pass the legendary merchant promotion test? Sejun asked Urin, who was competing with Kyungi to put food into his mouth. Considering the difficulty of Theo's promotion test, it was hard to understand how the unlucky Urin had become a legendary merchant. Me, actually. Urin explained how he became a legendary merchant. Of course, he had recruited the 3 reputable people with money, and naturally, solved the contract requirement for 1,000 employment contracts with money too. And what about the strength test? For that, you pass if you exceed 100 on the strength reader. You just need to be capable of basic self-defense. Is that so? What? He thought they had to have high strength as well to be considered versatile in business and strength. The 4th test. Bringing 11 trillion tower coins for the 4th test was too easy for Urin, who could make gold. For the final test, I realized as soon as I saw red letters come out from the beginning, I absolutely can't pass this alone. So I surrounded myself with people who were lucky. Fortunately, I ended up hearing a mercenary who genuinely had great fortune. Thanks to that, I passed the test easily. Really? What? That's too much of a happy ending for Urin. But that mercenary disappeared the day after I became a legendary merchant. He took the merchant's wagon, which sells by itself, and my entire fortune. It turns out he was a notorious thief known called Faceless Loon. Phew, as expected, this is more like Urin. Hearing Urin's story, Sejun felt strangely at ease. The thief, Loon, seemed to be the same type as Theo, someone who took Urin's misfortune and turned it into his own luck. Puhuhut, this is good, meow. Thank goodness. As Sejun looked at Theo lying on his lap, receiving pets, he felt relieved that Theo hadn't strayed down a bad path. At that moment, a job quest has been triggered. Quest, find Patrick, the god of Earth sealed on the 35th floor of the Gold Tower, and break the seal. Reward, a large amount of job experience points, 5 drops of growth elixir. A quest message suddenly appeared in front of Sejun. Job quest. So suddenly, while Sejun was puzzled, a quest has been triggered. Quest, feed the great dragons afflicted with the curse of forgetfulness, by giving them each a glass of golden samyangju. Reward, 3 vials of growth elixir for every 1,000 great dragons whose curse is lifted. Another quest message appeared. And then, a quest has been triggered. Quest, release the seals of the gods. Reward, 5 vials of growth elixir for every 5 god seals released. Another quest appeared once more. The support from Emila, the apostle of the creator god, was quite generous. Chapter 402, The Taste is What's Important. Yup, that's right. Giving 3 quests at once. Sejun spoke as he quickly skimmed over the quests. 1 job quest and 2 regular quests. The job quest is to find Patrick, the god of Earth sealed on the 35th floor of the Gold Tower, and break the seal. If it's Patrick, he is the owner of the straw hat I wore. As a reward for releasing the seal, he might upgrade my hat, or since he's the god of Earth, he might give me a lot of jewels. Heh, I'm looking forward to it. But how do I get to the Golden Tower? I should have Theo get me a land deed for the Golden Tower. Oh, no, wait. Now that I can come to the shop district, should I try to get it myself? He decided to first try to get the land deed for the 35th floor of the Golden Tower from the shopping district, and if he couldn't find it, he would ask Theo. But what is the growth elixir? The reward given was common for all quests. For this, it seemed he needed to receive it first to find out. Having reviewed the job quest, I can just do these as I've been doing usually, Sejun said, looking at the remaining 2 regular quests. Giving a glass of golden samyeonju to the dragons. Releasing the seals of the gods. These were all things Sejun usually did. But won't it be hard to give just 1 glass each? It was doubtful if the dragons would be satisfied with just 1 glass. They would definitely ask for more. I'm sure Aileen can handle it well, right? After reviewing the 3 quests, Sejun looked around. Gororong. Kirorong. Kirorong. His companions were already leaning against Sejun's body, fast asleep. Guys. Sejun tried calling them, but they didn't budge. No one woke up. Sejun had no choice but to carry everyone to the hotel. However, Yuren, I'm sorry. He had no choice but to leave Yuren behind. Unlike Kyungi, who could reduce his weight, Yuren was heavy. Instead, Sejun covered Yuren with a tablecloth and headed to the hotel with the rest of the party. Gagel's secret research lab in Minnesota, USA. The result. Success, look at this. At Michael's question, who had become the chairman of Gagel, lab director Jake showed a tablet. On the screen was a massively grown flesh eater. As soon as Michael became chairman, he had Gagel's top researchers called to a secret lab to create a growth accelerator specifically for the flesh eaters. How long did it take to grow this much? 70 hours. Almost 3 days. Michael said in a satisfied voice. Good work. Put out an order to every factory in the world to make the growth accelerator you've just developed and shut down the lab. Yes, sir. Jake returned to the lab at Michael's command. Though he was told to shut down the lab, Jake showed no sign of disappointment. Now I'll get $100 million. He was rather excited, eagerly awaiting the money to be deposited into his account. He didn't care why Michael was doing such crazy things. He just cared that he could make money. Everyone place orders for the growth accelerator at the assigned factories. We're done here. Go enjoy your vacation. Yes, Director. At Jake's words, the researchers began placing orders at their respective factories to produce the growth accelerator under the name of Gagel. Thus, the mass production of the growth accelerator for rapidly growing flesh eaters began worldwide. The next morning, Puhu Hut, Chairman Park, if we go to Mason, chairman of the Wandering Merchant Association, we can easily get the land deed, meow. Really? Then let's go see Mason. At Theo's words, Sejun decided to go find Mason with his party and went down to the hotel restaurant to have breakfast. Upon arriving at the restaurant, good morning. Yuren had already taken a seat and was having breakfast. Of course, Yuren ate with the party until they finished their meal. After finishing breakfast, do you have the land deed for the 35th floor of the Golden Tower? When Sejun asked Mason, I'm sorry, we don't have it, but I will definitely try to obtain it. Mason replied in a terrified voice. Why is he so scared? Then I'll leave it to you. Sejun entrusted the land deed to Mason and the waypoint for the 75th floor of the Black Tower has been saved. Arrived at the waypoint. Legendary Merchant Vice President Theo, see you later then. Sejun put Kyungi and Fenrir into the void storage and said goodbye to Theo. Theo planned to take Phoenix to the 95th floor of the tower to find its nest, and then go to the 96th floor to get a stamp from Regius, the Lord of Bones. Pew Hut got it, meow. Chairman Park, see you at home, meow. All right. After saying goodbye, Sejun headed to the 99th floor of the tower. Pew Hut, now let's depart, meow. Theo, along with Yona, Piat, Urin, and Phoenix, moved to the 95th floor of the tower. You have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Moo. Hello, Sejun Nim. Yes, hello. Sejun greeted the Minotaur King, who appeared at the waypoint. Clang. Kyung. Teacher, it's good to see you. Moo. Yes. Kyungi opened the void storage and ran towards the Minotaur King, who offered his palm. Kyungi slapped his palm against the Minotaur King. Bang! It was just a high five, but the sound was tremendous. After finishing this destructive greeting. Finally home. Sejun returned home. First, let's plant the earth jewels. Sejun planted the 3 fully recovered earth jewels sporadically in the ground, and went to find the sausage tree to use the harvest elixir. Our sausage tree has grown a lot, huh? Sejun remarked, looking at the sausage tree that had grown to knee height, thanks to Flamey's nutrients. Tug. Sejun dropped a single drop of the harvest elixir onto the sausage tree. Crack. The sausage tree began to grow rapidly after absorbing the harvest elixir. After confirming the growth of the sausage tree, Sejun moved to another field. Thunk. You have planted a cherry seed in the magic-infused soil. After planting the cherry seed, Tug. He dropped a single drop of the harvest elixir. Following that, Sejun dropped a drop each of the remaining harvest elixir on 5 saplings of thick darkness cherry, 5 saplings of sunflower, and 3 saplings of blueberry. The thick darkness cherry and sunflower were for the black dragon and the white dragon, and the blueberries, because they had a good effect. The blueberries had a description that said they would gain special effects if they absorbed the energy of the blue moon. When the blueberries absorbed the energy of the blue moon, when consumed, the talent, swift movements will awaken for 10 minutes. As described, an additional effect was created. Moreover, the magic power that was originally increased by 1 had now risen 5. Additionally, the blue moon's energy has been absorbed once, 1-3. The blueberries could absorb the energy of the blue moon up to 3 times, not just once. This meant 2 more additional effects could be obtained. Timing was crucial. The more blueberries secured before the blue moon, the better. Therefore, Sejun invested 3 drops of the harvest elixir into the blueberries. After using all 15 drops of the harvest elixir, Sejun went to the brewery and started brewing the golden samyeonju for the dragons. After a while, fermentation. Using fermentation LV4. Due to the effect of fermentation LV4, the fermentation period is reduced by 1 day. Due to the effect of fermentation LV4, the process slightly speeds up. Due to the effect of fermentation LV4, strengthens the taste a little. Your proficiency in fermentation LV4 slightly increases. Sejun used his skill on the alcohol he was brewing. Once the work was done, time to eat. Nom. Sejun took out Aileen's cookie from his pocket and ate it as a simple meal. You have consumed Aileen's special nutritional cookie piece. All stats increase by 0.5. An additional effect will occur if you consume all pieces. 989 pieces remaining. Kyungi went to the western forest. Keikirorong. Fenrir, having had a snack an hour ago, was fast asleep in the sling bag, so only Sejun needed to eat. Slurp. As Sejun ate 10 of Aileen's cookies and drank some coffee while resting. Buzz. Hello, Sejun Nim. Sweetie greeted Sejun, It seemed it had returned from visiting the poisonous queen bee again today. "How's your practice going lately?" "Buzz, buzz. It's the same as usual. I'm doing the best," Sweetie replied, puffing itself up with pride at Sejun's question. "Really? As expected, our Sweetie is amazing." At Sejun's compliment, Sweetie rubbed its body against Sejun's face, feeling bashful. While talking with Sweetie, "Right, Sweetie, we need to send some of the bees to the 75th floor of the tower." Sejun was pondering on what to with the acacia tree farm. Acacia honey. Sejun thought of acacia honey and decided to send the poisonous bees to the acacia farm on the 75th floor of the tower. "Buzz. Then I'll talk to the poisonous queen bee and see if there's a queen bee who can become independent." "Yeah, thank you." After chatting a bit more with Sweetie, "I wonder if it's fully grown now." He went to check on the sausage tree. Have you ever seen it? The miraculous tree with sausages hanging all over it in clusters. "Hell, I have." "Oh." With an excited expression, Sejun hurriedly ran to the sausage tree and harvested the sausages. "You have harvested 10 Vienna sausages. Your job experience increases slightly. Your proficiency of harvesting LV8 increases slightly. You gain 10 experience points." These were ordinary sausages with no special effects. But it didn't matter. The taste is what's important. Yup, that's right. While Sejun was diligently harvesting sausages. "Our sausage is doing great, keep eating more." Below ground, Flamey's roots were feeding nutrients to the sausage, cheering them on. Encouraged by Flamey's support, the sausage was absorbing nutrients diligently, growing stronger. It seemed it would become the youngest world tree. "Heh, how should I eat these sausage to get the best taste out of them?" Unaware that another world tree was being born underground, Sejun was pondering how to eat the sausages more deliciously. The 95th floor of the Black Tower. "Pew Hut Phoenix, is it over there, meow?" Theo asked in an excited voice while looking at the peak of a gigantic mountain. It was no wonder. The mountain peak looked as if it was covered in snow, but upon closer inspection, it was entirely made up of skeletons, about 300,000 of them. The term teeming fit perfectly. They were all waiting to capture Phoenix upon its return. Kakakik. Yes, they are all Regia's subordinates. "Pew Hut, very good, meow." Theo laughed as he ran forward, taking out the wealth Sejun had prepared from his new bag. "Pew Hut, meow." As Theo burned the wealth, his body shone golden, and he swung his front paw. Bang! A massive golden paw appeared from the sky, crashing onto the mountain. The enormous mountain crumbled under Theo's giant paw print. "Pew Hut. This is the new technique of legendary merchant vice chairman Theo. Meow meow divine palm meow. If you want to eat this, move your thumb bones meow." Theo showed fish bones to the broken skeletons. Clatter, clatter. The skeletons eagerly moved their thumb bones, making it very easy for Piot and Urine to stamp the contracts. However, there were too many skeletons. "You all help with the stamping too, meow." So the newly enslaved skeleton were also put to work stamping the contracts. As a result, the number of skeletons stamping the contracts quickly increased from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, and soon the stamping was finished in no time. "Now, let's go to the 96th floor of the tower, meow." Theo led the 300,000 skeleton slaves to the 96th floor of the tower. It wasn't to make them fight, but to have them help with the stamping. As Theo departed, "Keikaki, my home." Phoenix began repairing its nest that was destroyed by Theo's meow meow divine palm. Chapter 403, Sejun has appeared. 20 km west of Houston, Texas, USA. Kieka. Block them. Use fire magic. 100,000 American hunters were forming a barrier, fighting off the flesh eaters that were swarming in like zombies. People weren't fools, and they figured out why more flesh eaters appeared even after killing them. It was because of the seed inside the flesh eaters' heads. So to remove the flesh-eater seeds, they tried to eliminate the seeds by launching missiles and using flamethrowers, but Earth's weapons were ineffective. Fortunately, they discovered that Hunter's magic worked, and fire magic was the most effective. However, there was no time to remove the seeds. Kiag. Block them. Mages attack. They were barely managing to fend off the incoming flesh-eaters. Have you contacted Captain K? Well, he's inside the tower, so it's not easy to contact him. While American hunters were defending Houston and fighting the flesh-eaters, the CIA was searching for Han Tae-jun. They needed to contact Sejun again to seek Peacepeace's help once again. Robin and Peter, who went to Korea, approached the staff working at the Hanla building and dug up information, discovering one fact. The employees were instructed to cooperate unconditionally if a golden bat appeared. Thanks to this, the CIA was 100% convinced that Peacepeace was Sejun's pet. So they were trying to find Han Tae-jun, who could contact Sejun, but Han Tae-jun was staying inside the tower. While American hunters were focusing on Houston, hunters worldwide were concentrating on eliminating flesh-eaters on the 4th floor of the tower. The reason was the quest to accumulate contributions. The higher the contributions, the better the rewards, so hunters were fervently exterminating flesh-eaters. While the USA was looking for a way to ask Sejun for help. Good, our sausage is eating well. Flamey, who was protecting Earth, was entirely focusing on growing sausage, with only the consciousness left in the roots in Korea. Black Tower, 99th floor. Kyeoha Kyeong. Hehe, I found some herbs good for Dad's health. Kyeongi, who had found herbs Sejun needed from the western forest, flew back excitedly in a Superman pose. As Kyeongi approached home, thud. Where is Dad? Landing on the ground, Kyeongi looked for Sejun. Then, sniff, sniff. The scent of food Kyeongi had only tasted once flowed into his nose. A scent unforgettable even after just one taste. It's Sadiok Sadiok. Kyeongi hurriedly followed the scent to the kitchen. And then, Kyeong. Dad, Kyeongi is here. Clinging to Sejun's back, who was making Sadiok Sadiok sauce, Kyeongi rubbed his face against him in greeting. Kyeongi is here. Kyeong Kyeong. That's right, this is an herb for Dad to eat. Kyeongi took out 2 golden kudzu roots from his snack pouch. Golden kudzu, root of detoxification. The 2 kudzu roots had the same name but differed in thickness. Let's check the options first. Sejun checked the options of the kudzu roots. Golden kudzu, root of detoxification. A kudzu root that grew by absorbing the nutrients from toxic potatoes planted around it due to a strong will to survive. When consumed, stamina increases by 10. When consumed, awakens the talent, degrade poison resistance. It has a bitter taste. Usage restriction. Stamina 100 or above, magic power 100 or above. Grade D. Golden kudzu, root of detoxification. A kudzu root that grew by absorbing the nutrients from toxic potatoes planted around it due to a strong will to survive. When consumed, stamina increases by 20. When consumed, awakens the talent, C-grade poison resistance. It has a bitter taste. Usage restriction. Those who have awakened the talent, D-grade poison resistance, stamina 100 or above, magic power 100 or above. Grade C. There was a reason for the difference in thickness. One is D-grade and the other is C-grade. Kyeongi, you little rascal. Sejun seemed to understand why Kyeongi had brought kudzu roots that could awaken poison resistance talent. You did it because I collapsed yesterday, huh? Today, Kyeongi, you can eat all the Sadiok Sadiok. Kyeongi, wash your hands and sit down. I'll make Sadiok Sadiok for you soon. Sejun told Kyeongi. Crunch, crunch. Sejun ate the thinner kudzu root that Kyeongi had brought first. It was bitter, but he chewed diligently, thinking of Kyeongi's sincerity. You have consumed the golden kudzu root of detoxification. Stamina increases by 10. Talent D-grade poison resistance is awakened. As soon as Sejun obtained D-grade poison resistance, crunch crunch, he immediately ate the remaining kudzu root. You have consumed the golden kudzu root of detoxification. Stamina increases by 20. Talent C-grade poison resistance is awakened. While Sejun was eating the kudzu roots, Kyung. Kyungi washed hands. Kyungi is ready to eat. Kyungi quickly washed his hands and sat at the table, informing Sejun of his status. Got it, just a moment. Sejun started applying sauce to the sadiak skewers and stacking them on a plate. It's ready. He soon placed a plate stacked with sadiak skewers, 10 layers high, on the table. Kyung. Little dad also likes sadiak. Call little dad to eat together. Ajax too. Kyung. That's right. Even thinking of Ajax. My sweet Kyungi has a big heart. All right, summon Ajax. At Kyungi's words, Sejun summoned Ajax. Summoning Ajax, slave from the White Tower. Hyung, I missed you. As soon as he appeared, Ajax hugged Sejun. But this smell, is it sadiak? Yes, Kyungi said little dad likes sadiak and insisted on calling you. Kyung. Little dad likes sadiak. Thank you, Kyungi. Ajax looked warmly at Kyungi. Let's eat now. Kyung. Yes, Hyung. While Kyungi and Ajax were each holding a sadiak skewer in both hands and eating. Here, Blackie, you eat too. Sejun cut the sadiak into bite-sized pieces and put them in Fenrir's food bowl. Kilahit kaying. Haha, new food, yay, good job. Fenrir praised Sejun for making new food while eating sadiak. What is this? It's so delicious. Especially this meaty-tasting thing. Chomp. While Fenrir, who found the new favorite food after dried sweet potatoes, was focused on the sausage part. Kyuiha. Haley. Kyungi and Ajax, each holding a sadiak skewer in both hands, expressed their excitement by dancing with their butts with every bite. And then, your soul is fulfilled by the pouring praises. Mental strength increases by 3. It's delicious. Sejun, satisfied with their reactions, ate the sadiak skewer. After eating dinner like that, guys, go catch some fish for me. Sejun asked Kyungi and Ajax to catch fish. There were quite a few fish bones collected now, but since Theo would be increasing the skeleton slaves in the future, they needed to catch a lot of fish in advance. Kyungi is good at catching fish. Yufuf, I'm also very good at it. While the two enthusiastically hunted fish in the pond. The seal on the Earth's jewel has been broken. Dwell, the god of wells sealed in the Earth's jewel, is released from the seal. Dwell, the god of wells, repays the favor to the one who broke his seal. Dwell, the god of wells, repays the favor by creating a well on 3.3 square meters of land. From the Earth's jewel buried in the ground, 3 gods were released from their seals. Oh! Sejun, upon seeing the message, hurried to find the rewards from the 3 gods. In the kitchen, he found a 3.3 square meters sparkling water well made by Dwell, the god of wells. In the farm, he discovered a 3.3 square meters marble path made of gold and jewels by Mar, the god of marble. At the pond, he found a 3.3 square meters pearl oyster farm created by Pearl, the god of pearls. And Sejun made roads according to the rewards received. After making temples for the 3 gods like that, Sejun. Blackie, let's sleep now. Hugged Fenrir to his chest and lay down on the bed. Kyungi went asleep with Pinkfur, and Ajax returned to the White Tower. Gulp. You have consumed medicinal mugwort. All stats increase by 20. Your lifespan increases by 3 months. You have consumed a bitter medicinal herb. Talent, a medicine that's bitter is good for stamina activates. Your stamina increases by 9. Sejun fell asleep after consuming the medicinal mugwort. Sejun ate the 20th medicinal mugworts today. Thanks to that, his lifespan increased by 5 years. Seed Shop Headquarters. 6 mushroom ants, tenant farmers of Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun, have passed by your temple. Divine power increases by 0.0006. Hugh Hut. Indeed, the diligence of the mushroom ants. While Li was pleased with the steadily increasing divine power and praised the diligence of the mushroom ants, Hyungi, the herbalist Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun, passed by your temple. Divine power increases by 0.1. Oh, it's Kyungi. Li cheered at Kyungi's appearance. One Kyungi provided as much divine power as 1,000 mushroom ants passing by the temple. Phew, I was worried since he hadn't come by lately. Li, who had been concerned that Kyungi might have changed his route, sighed in relief. At that moment, Park Sejun, the Black Tower's Tower Farmer, passed by your temple. Divine power increases by 0.5. Oh, Sejun has appeared. Sejun provided as much divine power as 5,000 mushroom ants. Thanks to this, Li was able to invest a substantial amount of divine power into creating divine relics today. While Li was making relics, Li Nim, new gods have arrived. Another god came looking for Li. Really? Li hurried to the plaza. Hey guys, nice to see you. Dwell, it's been a while. Mar, you were also released from the seal by Park Sejun, right? Pearl, it's been a really long time. The non-combatant gods were welcoming the 3 newly arrived gods. And then, so what did you guys give as rewards? The topic of conversation among the gods soon turned to what rewards the 3 new gods had given Sejun. Because Sejun would build temples for them after receiving rewards. I gave a sparkling water well. I gave a marble path made of gold and jewels. I gave a pearl oyster farm that adjusts gravity. As the 3 gods shared their rewards, Black Tower Farmer Park Sejun has built a temples 10 square meters for Dwell, the god of wells. Divine power increases by 9. Sejun built Dwell Road with 10 square meters, Mar Road with 3.3 square meters, and Pearl Road with 1.65 square meters of path. Unfortunately, Sejun simply considered the Pearl Oyster Farm made by Pearl as just an oyster farm. Ah, we have temples. Well, congratulations. As the 3 gods received their temples, the other gods cheered and congratulated them. Park Sejun. Park Sejun. The gods began chanting Sejun's name, who had built the temples for them. The atmosphere grew more festive. But it's noisy. A passing battle god interrupted again. The non-combatant gods had 12 temples that could generate divine power on their own, but it was still far less compared to the battle gods. Just wait and see. The non-combatant gods longed for the day when they could loudly call out Sejun's name. Park Sejun. Park Sejun. They chanted his name in whispers barely audible. And if I send a believer to ask Park Sejun, will he build a temple for me too? While non-combatant gods without temples desperately searched for beings who could become their believers somewhere in the world. 96th floor of the Black Tower. Pew Hut, we've finally arrived, meow. Theo arrived in front of a giant white castle, the White Bone Castle, ruled by Regius, the Lord of Bones. Chapter 404, Not Theo but Me. Inside the White Bone Castle, on the 96th floor of the Black Tower. Golden Cat Theo Park, how dare you interfere with the work of Lord Regius, the Lord of Bones and the supreme among the sacred bones. Bang! Upon hearing his subordinates report that the Phoenix capture operation had failed, the leader of the 4 heavenly kings, Bon Knight, slammed his fist on the desk in fury. The 4 heavenly kings were the strongest skeletons among the sacred bones that followed Regius, consisting of Bon Knight, Bon Mage, Bon Archer and Bon Tanker. There's still a chance. The Phoenix will return to its nest anyway, so we can. Bon Knight was unaware that the subordinates on the 95th floor of the tower had been dealt with, because Theo had turned all the skeletons lurking in the Phoenix's nest on the 95th floor into slaves. That information had not been transmitted. Just then, Lord Bon Knight, Theo Park is outside. What? He's got some nerve. Does he even know where he is? But the soldiers of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th divisions are following Theo Park. What? Why are the ones supposed to be guarding the Phoenix's nest here? Bon Knight jumped up at his subordinates' report. All 4 heavenly kings and soldiers gather at the castle gate. Bon Knight summoned the 4 heavenly kings and headed towards the castle gate. Pew Hut, open the gate, meow. Theo casually walked up to the guard at the gate and asked him to open the gate, despite coming to fight the owner of the White Bone Castle, Regius. Please state your name first. When the guard asked Theo for his name, Pew Hut, if you're asking who I am, then I'll tell you. Just as Theo, excited to introduce himself, was about to respond. Thud, thud. Theo Park, not only have you interfered with Lord Regius's work, but you also dare to come here. Your arrogance ends today. Bon Knight appeared, leading the other 3 heavenly kings and 500,000 soldiers. However, the timing was terrible. Hug. You dare interrupt legendary merchant vice chairman Theo's introduction. Meow. I'll punish you, meow. Theo glared at Bon Knight in anger. Bon Knight, leave the rest to us. Yeah, we need some fun too. I've wanted to fight Iona. There are 4 of them and 4 of us, so 4 versus 4. Perfect. The rest of the 4 heavenly kings stepped forward with confidence, being the strongest among the sacred bones. And then, Kaiwat. Pew Hut. Yuh. This side was equally confident. Thus the battle began. Meow. Bon Knight, who blocked Theo's 1 meow slash with his sword, was split into 6 pieces along with his sword. Kaiwat. Power of the meteor. Iona turned the cute junior mage, attacking her into dust. And then, Pio. Messenger bird technique, rapid delivery. Piat swiftly evaded the arrows shot by Bon Archer, rising high into the sky. Pio. Messenger bird technique, descent. Descending rapidly from the sky, it drilled a hole in Bon Archer's head. KQik. Finally, Urim was fiercely beaten by Bon Tanker. However, just a bit more. He wasn't just getting beaten. Urim was gradually closing the distance with Bon Tanker. He made it. As the distance closed, Yuhua turned into gold. He reached out to Bon Tanker and turned him into gold. Unlike inanimate objects, moving entities would soon return to normal, but in the brief time before that happened, it was enough to turn the tide of the battle. Because everything will be over by then. Theonim help. Not Urim but Theo. Hut got it, meow. Receiving the stamp from Bon Knight, Theo moved with meow step and dealt with Bon Tanker, then took Bon Tanker's golden shield. Because the shield stays gold. Thus, Theo and his group easily defeated the 4 heavenly kings. Hut, if you want to eat this, stamp here, meow. Seeing the 500,000 soldiers who had followed the 4 heavenly kings, Theo shouted while holding a fishbone. Pio. Here, if you stamp, you can get a fishbone every day. Piat flew around busily promoting the offer. Clatter. Even the 300,000 skeletons already enslaved by Theo tempted the 500,000 skeletons by describing the taste of fishbones. Clatter. As their sales pitch seemed to work, one by one, the 500,000 skeletons began to raise their hands. Hut, you won't regret it, meow. As the skeletons began to stamp their signatures on the contract. What is all this commotion? Regius, the Lord of Bones, who had been resting in his palace, appeared. Lord Regius. The skeletons bowed to Regius as if they were in the presence of an untouchable being. This included Theo's slaves as well. And then, Regius, the Lord of Bones, brings all bones into submission. This also affected Theo and his party, who had bones. Meow. No one but Chairman Park can subdue me, meow. Theo resisted with all his might against the force, trying to subdue his bones. You have successfully resisted. While Theo used half his strength to resist Regius's power. Kaiwo power of the meteor. Iona, who had already successfully resisted, dropped a meteor towards Regius. Pio. I overcame it. Piat mustered all its strength to barely resist. Kuik I have lost. Thud. Urin knelt and bowed to Regius's power. Meanwhile, bang! Iona's meteor fell towards Regius. However, it's useless. Regius raised a golden staff that had appeared in his hand. Wung! A golden shield emerged from the tip of the staff, blocking the meteor. Flash! Pew-hut! Instead, it missed Theo, who glowed golden from the burning wealth. Meow 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 meow. Struck on the back of the head by Theo's meow meow storm fist, Regius turned into powder that could never be restored. Meow, I'll give this to Iona, meow. Excitedly, Theo picked up the staff Regius had been holding. But, meow. At the tip of the staff, there was a black orb surrounded by 3 gems, with one spot empty. It was an incomplete staff. In fact, the remaining slot was meant for the phoenix's heart. That's why Regius was trying to capture the phoenix. And this is a piece of Fenrir's core, meow. There was another problem. The black orb embedded in the staff was a piece of Fenrir's core. It seemed Regius was trying to control the piece of Fenrir's core, using the other gems embedded in the staff. I need to show this to Chairman Park first, meow. I need to take Fenrir's core piece to Chairman Park, meow. Thus, Theo took Regius's staff. Pew-hut, now it's treasure hunting time, meow. Iona, let's go, meow. Kaiwat, yes. He began raiding Regius' vault with Iona and Pio. If you don't want to become powder, stamp quickly. Stamp here. Piat, Urin, and Theo's skeleton slaves held up the slave contracts to get stamped. A short while later, you have achieved the feat of hunting 1 million slaves. You have earned the title, Slave Hunter, for this achievement. Theo, who hunted 1 million slaves, gained a title and you have hunted 1 slave. All stats increased by 1 due to the effect of title, Slave Hunter. He became even stronger due to the title's effect. Pew-hut, I have to boast to Chairman Park, meow. You guys finished stamping the contracts here, meow. Theo excitedly took Iona and ran up to the 99th floor of the tower. 99th floor of the Black Tower. All right. Sejun woke up to the morning of the 402nd day since entering the tower. You have achieved the great feat of commanding 1 million slaves. As a reward for the great feat, you have earned the title, Slave King. You will collect 1 million tower coins in monthly taxes from your slaves due to the effect of title, Slave King. He checked the messages that appeared while he was asleep. Slave King. Not Theo but me. When Theo makes contracts, he always writes Sejun's name next to his own. And Sejun is Theo's master. Therefore, the system deemed Sejun the actual owner of the slaves. Slave King, doesn't that sound too villainous? When Sejun was reluctant about his newly acquired title. You have gained 100 slaves. All stats increased by 1 due to the effect of title, Slave King. A message appeared along with increasing stats. Stats rise just by increasing slaves. This is good. Thanks to this, Sejun decided to accept the title willingly. I just won't tell anyone. Time to prepare breakfast. Sejun got up from his spot. Kirorong. After covering Fenrir, who was still sleeping, with a blanket, he headed to the kitchen. Then he quickly started making sadiak. Yesterday, he had meant to give some to Aelin, but he had forgotten. When Sejun remembered, Kyungi was already doing the dishes while diligently licking even the sauce left on the plate that held the satiak had been. A little later, Aileen, eat this. Sejun sent a plate full of sadyak to Aileen. The tower administrator says thank you for the food. Yeah, enjoy your meal. After chatting briefly with Aileen, Sejun prepared his own breakfast. Breakfast was simple: fried eggs and stir-fried sausages. Of course, he made octopus legs by cutting slits in the sausages. Sizzle. While Sejun was making breakfast. Kyung. Good morning, Dad. Kaying. Give me breakfast. Kyungi and Fenrir entered the kitchen together in harmony. Kyung. Dad is a genius. Kyungi feels like eating octopus too, so Kyungi's happy. Kaying. Feels like a real hunt. Both were delighted with the octopus-shaped sausages. After eating breakfast like that. Fermentation. Sejun went to the brewery, stirred the alcohol in the jar and used his fermentation skill, then harvested the ripe crops. It was just another typical day until... Hey, I should go shopping. To the 75th floor of the tower. He was going to visit Mason to ask about the Golden Tower land deed and eat street food at the shopping street. Kyungi, let's go together. Of course, he was too scared to go alone, so he went with Kyungi. Kyung. Shopping sounds fun. Sejun headed to the waypoint with Kyungi and Fenrir. On the way to the waypoint. Aileen, can we move the waypoint's location? Sejun asked Aileen. Since he had more reasons to visit other floors, even getting to the waypoint from home took considerable time. The tower administrator says it's possible. The tower administrator says she can move the waypoint 1 km per day. Really? Then move it 1 km closer to our house every day starting today. The tower administrator says to leave it to her. The tower administrator says she just moved it 1 km. Yeah, thank you. Sejun thanked Aileen. Just then, Vice Chairman Theo is here. Sejun sensed Theo's energy quickly approaching from afar. And then, Chairman Park, I'm back, meow. Theo suddenly appeared, hugging Sejun's face. Good to see you. Sejun replied as he peeled Theo off his face. But Chairman Park, where are you going, meow? To the 75th floor. Pew hut, then check this out on the way, meow. Theo opened his bag and began boasting about the items he had looted from the 96th floor of the tower. This is the best one, meow. Theo took out Regius's staff from his bag and handed it to Sejun. What is this? Staff of Destruction. Just by its name, Sejun knew exactly who to give it to. But why give it to me? As Sejun was about to grab the staff, a fragment of Fenrir's core, 15%, detected directly right in front. A message appeared. Kaying. My core. At the same time, Fenrir lunged towards the staff. Chapter 405. Sylvia Unnai, come here with me for a second. Black Tower's Administrator Zone. Mid-level administrator of the Black Tower and Tower Farmer Park Sejun's contribution have increased by 1 point. Kekikek, it's rising well. Aileen watched with delight as Sejun's contribution points continued to accumulate. Munch. Moreover, eating the sadyak skewer that Sejun had given her made her feel like she had the whole world. At that moment, Aileen, what's that? It looks delicious. Voices were heard from behind. Go. As Aileen hurriedly turned around, she saw 6 hatchlings drooling at the sadyak skewer next to her. When did they get here? It seemed she was too absorbed in the crystal orb to hear them approaching. She was eating slowly to savor it, but hiding it from the hatchlings who had already seen it would be foolish. It could easily lead to bad feelings. Unnai Opaz, this is something my Sejun made, try it. So Aileen handed out a sadyak skewer to each of the hatchlings, promoting Sejun's new food. Oh really? Is it called sadyak skewer? That's an interesting name. If it's Park Sejun's food, we can trust it. I'm looking forward to it. The excited hatchlings each received a sadyak skewer from Aileen and began to eat. And then, this is really delicious. Aileen, I want to buy this. Me too, how much is it? The hatchlings, having tasted the Sadiok skewer, enthusiastically expressed their desire to purchase it. It's 10 tower coins each. Aileen quoted a price that was neither too high nor too low for the dragons. 10 tower coins, got it, Mom. Dad. The hatchlings ran to their parents to pester them to buy the Sadiok skewers. No, one hatchling remained behind. Sylvia Unnai, why aren't you going? When Aileen asked the still Sylvia, Aileen, tell Park Sejun that Sylvia wants to marry him. Sylvia will marry Park Sejun and eat delicious food for the rest of her life. How's that? Isn't Sylvia a genius? Sylvia, painting a grand picture, looked at Aileen with a smug expression. What, who do you want to marry? Aileen was greatly flustered by Sylvia's bombshell declaration and asked again. Sylvia wants to marry Park Sejun. Sylvia shouted again in a loud voice. Sylvia Unnai, come here with me for a second. Oh, is Park Sejun already waiting? Hee. Sylvia is shy. Just follow me for now. As Aileen dragged Sylvia to a secluded spot. Theo Park, the subordinate of Black Tower's tower farmer Park Sejun, says that Chairman Park is in danger. What? Why is our Sejun in danger? Aileen hurriedly ran to the crystal orb to find Sejun. Grandpa. She urgently called for Kaiser. Finally I'll get my core. Fenrir lunged toward the black orb embedded in the staff, confident that this time he wouldn't fail. Sejun was focused on reading the message. Kyungi was sitting next to Sejun, counting the pocket money he would use for shopping. Theo was looking only at Sejun's face, waiting for praise. Jonah was looking warmly at Theo. Everyone was completely unconcerned about Fenrir and the core fragment. Now, I'll show you the true face of me, Fenrir, the noble wolf who hunts gods and the first seed of the Apostle of Destruction. When Fenrir was just 10 cm away from the core fragment. Pug. Kaying. Fenrir's head collided with something pink, and he fell to the ground. Kaying. What is this? As Fenrir hurriedly lifted his head. Hut, no way, meow. This belongs to Chairman Park, meow. Theo, the expert thief catcher, was blocking the staff with his front paw, forming an iron defense. Kaying. That's mine. Fenrir growled fiercely, trying to intimidate Theo, but the youngest is misbehaving, meow. Instead, Theo raised his paw, ready to discipline Fenrir. Thump thump. Kaying. Butler, he's hitting me. Fenrir hurriedly hid behind Sejun, seeking help. As Fenrir hid behind Sejun. Blackie, that's dirty, let's play with this. Sejun handed a purified core fragment to Fenrir. But, Kaying. That's yours, I want that one, core, come to me. Fenrir barked fiercely at the core fragment embedded in the staff, refusing the purified core fragment Sejun offered. Thud. Reacting to Fenrir's outcry, the core fragment detached from the end of the staff. The separated core fragment fell to the ground. Crack. A crack appeared. Kaying. There's no way the core could crack like this. As Fenrir was puzzled. Womb. A large amount of red energy began to emanate from the crack in the core fragment, forming a huge figure. And then, I am Fenrir, the wolf who hunts gods and the first seed of the Apostle of Destruction, who summoned me. A voice echoed from the giant figure. As the core fragment had been separated from Fenrir for a long time and broken into several pieces, Fenrir's control had weakened significantly. As a result, the core containing great power and having Fenrir's residual thoughts began to assert themselves as Fenrir and develop their own will. Kaying. What? I am Fenrir, I'm the wolf who hunts gods and the first seed of the Apostle of Destruction. You're just my core. When Fenrir barked at the core fragment impersonating him. What is that? What is this? Sejun felt suffocated by the overwhelming pressure. Aileen Nuna, it's big trouble, meow. Chairman Park is in danger, meow. Theo quickly sought Aileen's help, as when faced with an opponent beyond their capability. Kyung. Everyone retreat. Meanwhile, Kyungi used telekinesis to gather the group and quickly distance themselves from the red energy. And then, Kaiwat Kaiwat Kaiwat, power of gravity tear the enemy apart, triple mega black hole. Yona used her most powerful spell, opening 3 massive black holes around the red energy to buy time. As Sejun and the group fled from the red energy. Kyungi, thank you. Now Master Sejun won't be able to see this far right. Flamey sighed in relief and started to exert its full strength. Crunch, crunch. Massive roots emerged from the ground and began to widely wrap around the red energy. It was to prevent any harm to Sejun and the group in the upcoming battle. In an instant, a 100-meter tall wall of roots surrounded the red energy. Though the red energy tried to annihilate everything around it, it couldn't affect Flamey's roots. This was thanks to the reward Sejun received for driving the locusts to extinction on Earth. While Flamey blocked the red energy, the amassed red energy took on a complete form. It was a giant wolf resembling Fenrir. Awu. When the wolf howled, Quagwing, the shockwave burst through Flamey's encircling roots. Can't escape from here. Fortunately, behind them were dozens of layers of roots, a testament to Flamey's determination to protect Sejun. Crunch, crunch. New roots grew quickly, filling the gaps. At that moment, you bastard, how dare destruction set foot here? Kaiser descended before the giant wolf Fenrir. Dare, you insolent dragon, you dare be rude before me, Fenrir, the wolf who hunts gods. HMPH, you're not even worth me fighting seriously. What? When Kaiser's words enraged the giant Fenrir. Disappear quickly, you're hurting our Sejun. Qwo. Kaiser fired a breath attack at giant Fenrir. Thanks to Flamey, the energy did not leak out, but Flamey couldn't hold on forever. As Kaiser's breath attacked the giant Fenrir. Crunch, crunch. The roots grew rapidly, covering the ceiling. Moments later, Qwong. The roots swelled, then turned to dust and vanished, leaving nothing but a massive hemispherical crater where the giant Fenrir had been. And then, Kahaha, is our Sejun okay? I've dealt with Fenrir so you can rest easy. Kaiser moved the black dragon statue to find Sejun, who had taken refuge in a cave, and brought a huge amount of money with him. Here, Kahaha, thank you. With the money obtained from defeating the giant Fenrir, Kaiser bought 10 Transcendence black beans, plus 2 from Sejun. Kaiser also made a contract to let Sejun handle the next dragon meeting, paying an advance of 1.5 trillion tower coins. Kyuhuhu, I'm almost a VVIP at the dragon market now. Kaiser, determined to be the first to become a VVIP this time, returned to the fountain. Once the transaction was complete, Sejun moved back to the place where the giant Fenrir had been with his party. Since he couldn't witness the fight, he at least wanted to see the remnants. Well, as Sejun marveled at the traces left by Kaiser's breath attack. Kaying. My core. Fenrir emerged from the sling bag and ran towards the crater. He couldn't believe it. His core had vanished. However, even though the slope of the crater was not that great of an angle, it was a challenging climb for Fenrir. Kaying. Fenrir, running to getting out of the crater, tripped and rolled down to the center. There, at the center of the crater, SRRRK. Kaying. Something started to be absorbed into Fenrir's body. As the core shattered from Kaiser's breath attack, the center point disappeared and the power began scattering when Fenrir with familiar power appeared. It was a minuscule amount of power compared to what was originally contained in the core fragment, but it's the power of my core. To Fenrir, who had almost given up, it was a delightful surprise. As Fenrir rejoiced, having recovered some of his power. Blackie, are you okay? Sejun reached the center of the crater following Fenrir. Then, remnants of Fenrir's core fragment around you are being absorbed. The power is merging with the existing Fenrir's core fragment. 1,0021% of Fenrir's power is accumulated in your body. Huh? A message appeared before Sejun. Looks like something was left behind. Sejun, without knowing the details, absorbed the power along with Fenrir. 2,0029% of Fenrir's power is accumulated in your body. The power accumulated faster in Sejun than in Fenrir, thanks to the core fragment Sejun possessed. As Sejun absorbed Fenrir's power, Puhuhut found it meow. Thea used his golden front paw to dig up fragments of the staff buried in the ground. The staff was broken, but Yeti's heart, King Giantworm's heart, Albatross's heart. Fortunately, the gems embedded in the staff were intact. Let's go now. Sejun stood in the crater until the messages stopped appearing, then headed to the waypoint. And you have arrived at the 75th floor of the Black Tower. Moving to the 75th floor of the tower, Sejun sought out Mason to obtain the Golden Tower land deed. But I'm sorry, we did our best. The Wandering Merchant Association could only procure land deeds for the 21st floor of the Brown Tower, the 12th floor of the Blue Tower, and the 1st floor of the Green Tower. Well, just give me those for now. Sejun thought that if Theo traded with other towers through the Wandering Merchant's bag, there might be a chance for him to visit those places. How much? It's fine, just take them. Sejun tried to pay for the land deeds, but Mason adamantly refused. All right then, I'll come back next time. Sejun bid Mason farewell and left the headquarters of the Wandering Merchant Association. As they entered the shopping district after leaving the headquarters, Kaying, "Hey, I'm hungry, give me food now." Fenrir's voice echoed in everyone's mind. Having partially regained his strength, he could now send his thoughts to others. That feels better. As Fenrir rejoiced at finally escaping the frustrating situation where he couldn't communicate. Blackie, it's disrespectful to talk to Chairman Park like that, meow. Kyung. Blackie needs to learn manners from Kyungi. The two older brothers approached Fenrir with stern expressions. Chapter 406, so that makes 8. 4th floor of the Black Tower. Attack. Hundreds of thousands of hunters formed a massive circle with a radius of 10 km around the waypoint. Kiag. They were fighting against the flesh eaters that surrounded them. Protecting the waypoint was extremely important because if the waypoint on the 4th floor was captured, there would be no way to come to the 4th floor in the future. Mages prepare buffs. Yes. Under the command of Han Tijun, who was directing the mages, they began to take out cherry tomatoes from their pouches and eat them. Sejun's A-grade magical cherry tomatoes, which increase magic power by 1 for 10 minutes upon consumption. Up to 10 can be stacked, so consuming them all at once can increase magic power by 10. With the magic power buff from the cherry tomatoes, the mages were ready. Mages, use your magic missile, dodge if you can, multi-magic missile. Fireball. Fire arrow. Starting with Han Tijun, the mages began using their magic. The flesh eaters were reduced in number by the mages' magical bombardment, providing a brief respite on the front line. Prepare buffs. Leon, the guild master of the Phoenix Guild who was commanding the warriors, shouted to the hunters. And then, crunch, crunch. The warriors began to eat Sejun's crops from their pouches. Most ate stamina corn, while hunters with more money ate the expensive power sweet potato or power potato. Now that Sejun's crops were widely distributed, overall prices had fallen a lot. However, power sweet potato, which enhances effects by 5 times, power potato that cures stomach cancer, and agility carrot that treats vision were still expensive. Hunters who couldn't afford even stamina corn ate combat ration to fill their bellies. While the mages bought time, the warriors who had gained buffs from eating the crops resumed fighting the flesh eaters. After about an hour, they had exterminated all the surrounding flesh eaters. Phew, hurry and rest. The next wave of flesh eaters will arrive in an hour. Thud. The exhausted hunters immediately sat down on the spot. At that moment, humans, we are here, meow. The cat employees of Sejun Company visited them. Oh, the wandering merchants of Sejun Company. If you die collecting contribution points, it's all for nothing. Hurry in exchange for tower coins to buy crops. While the hunters without money hurriedly exchanged their contribution points for tower coins. Give me 1,000 magical cherry tomatoes. I'll take 100 stamina corn. Other hunters quickly lined up in front of the wandering merchants and began buying goods. Without the supply from these wandering merchants, it would have been impossible to defend the waypoint on the 4th floor of the tower. While the hunters were buying Sejun's crops. Is this a pineapple? Meal, a mage hunter, discovered a new crop. What is this? As Meal timidly reached for the pineapple. Slap. No, meow, don't touch it, meow. Ellie, the intern cat, slapped Meal's hand and stopped her. Ouch, why did you hit me? It might explode if you touch it, meow. What explode? You're joking, right? Does it mean it's so delicious it will explode? I'm not joking, meow. Really? Then can I at least check the options? I'll be careful. All right, meow, be really careful, meow. As Ellie carefully held the pineapple with her front paws like Chap Soltiak, Meal cautiously placed her hand on the pineapple. And then, suppressed screaming pineapple. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 120 days. Grade A. I'll buy them all. After checking the options of the pineapple, Meal shouted. Really, meow? Great, meow. It's 1,000 tower coins per piece, meow. What, 1,000 tower coins? Almost close to 1 billion won in price. A single pineapple for 1 billion is too expensive. Meal hesitated for a moment. If you're not buying, move aside. We want to buy. The hunters lined up behind, began eyeing the pineapple. Looks like they're selling a new crop over there. Really, let's switch lines. With other hunters showing interest in the pineapple and switching lines. That's right, Park Sejun's crops have always been worth the price. Growing impatient, Meal decided to trust Park Sejun's name rather than her own judgment. Fine, give me 50. Are they really buying this? When Vice Chairman Theo instructed the Sejun Company's wandering merchants to sell the pineapples, all the wandering merchants were reluctant. They thought it was difficult to store and wouldn't be popular with the hunters. So the youngest, Ellie, had no choice but to bring all the remaining stock, but Ellie ended up selling 100 pineapples that day and recorded the highest sales among the wandering merchants. As the wandering merchants left, the enemies are coming. Prepare for battle. The battle started again. I'll try it first. Power of the wind to wind blow. To test its power, Meal used a wind spell to send the pineapple into the middle of the flesh eaters' formation. Please be worth 1,000 tower coins. Meal prayed as she watched the flying pineapple. While Meal was praying, thud, the pineapple fell among the flesh eaters. And then, crack, the middle of the pineapple split from the impact, and the trapped magic power burst out violently. Scree! Quagwing! Along with a tremendous scream, a huge shockwave occurred. The flesh eaters within a 50-meter radius of the explosion point were annihilated by the shockwave, and the enemies within a 100-meter radius were knocked out. You have killed a flesh eater. You have gained 1,000 experience points. Contribution has increased by 1. You have leveled up. You have gained 3 bonus stats. Magic power has increased by 5. Oh, level up. While Meal was delighted by the level up message. You have annihilated the enemy using a bomb. You can change class to Bomb Mage C. Do you want to change class? A job advancement message appeared. Bomb Mage. C rank higher than her current job, Mage D. I have to do this. Meal instinctively felt that this choice would change her destiny. I'll change class. Meal decisively chose to advance. Kuk explode. That day, she single-handedly wiped out half the enemies, earning an enormous amount of contribution. 75th floor of the Black Tower. Grrrr. Fenrir growled, watching Theo and Kyungi approaching him with fierce expressions. Despite his efforts, he only looked cute. Kaying. Don't come any closer, I'll bite if you do. When his growl didn't work, Fenrir barked noisily. However, Blackie, your noisy meow, you really need to be punished, meow. Kyungi will teach you what manners are. That only made his older brothers angrier. Kaying. Hey, what are you doing? Protect me. Fenrir cornered, asked his butler Sejun for help. Hey, Blackie, did you just call me hey again? Sejun, feeling betrayed, didn't help. Blackie, you have no manners, meow. You need to be disciplined, meow. Kyung. That's right, see, Yoongi will instill manners in you. Thus, Fenrir was forced to receive a manners patch through Theo and Kyungi's punishment. Kaying. I'm not Blackie. I'm Fenrir, the noble wolf who hunts gods in the first seat of Apostle of Destruction. Fenrir finally couldn't hold it in and revealed his identity, but Hut, if Blackie is Fenrir, then I'm Chairman Park, meow. Kyung. Then Kyungi is Grandpa Kaiser. They thought Fenrir's words were just their cute younger brother boasting, having already seen the gigantic Fenrir on the 99th floor of the tower. A short while later. From now on, be respectful to Chairman Park, meow. Kaying. I got it. Sigh. When Theo raised his paw at Fenrir's words. Kaying. Yes. Fenrir shrank back and used formal language. Fenrir's manners patch was finally complete. But when did Blackie become able to talk? When Sejun asked Blackie. Blackie didn't respond. He still wasn't used to his new name yet. Kyung. Blackie, aren't you answering Dad's question? As Kyungi reached for the rod of justice from his pouch again. My name is Blackie. Kaying. I do know, it just happened suddenly. Blackie hurriedly answered, glancing nervously at Theo and Kyungi. I see, Blackie, nice to meet you. My name is Park Sejun. Kaying. Yes. Sejun formally greeted Blackie, who could now communicate. All right, let's go shopping now. Sejun picked up Blackie and put him in a sling bag, standing up. Hut, Chairman Park, what do you want to buy, meow? Tell me and I'll guide you to everything, meow. Theo, who had been to the shopping district many times, clung to Sejun's leg and shouted. Then let's go to the blacksmith first. Got it, meow, this way, meow. Theo pointed his paw towards the blacksmith shop. Soon they arrived at the blacksmith shop. This is the lottery corner. Sejun was moved to see the blacksmith's lottery corner, which he had only heard about. How much is it? Sejun asked the blacksmith's employee to try the lottery. It's 20 tower coins. The employee answered. Can you give me a discount? Knowing how much Theo had paid, Sejun was about to use his 3 times bargaining skill. Though he had plenty of money, he always told Theo to use this skill, so he needed to set an example. At that moment, Kyungi will pay and negotiate. Enthusiastic Kyungi stepped forward. Kyungi will get a big discount and let Dad try the lottery with Kyungi's pocket money. Kyung, give a discount. Then 17 tower coins. As the employee began to negotiate, Kyungi took out the rod of justice from his snack pouch. Kyungi used words, not force. Bang, bang. Luckily, Kyungi didn't hit the employee, but lightly tapped his own paw with the rod. However, it was only light to Kyungi. Each tap shook the blacksmith shop. Wait a moment. Just for today, I'll give it to you for half price, 10 tower coins. The employee hurriedly shouted, thinking the shop might collapse if the negotiation continued. Kyung. Dad, Kyungi will pay, here you go. At the employee's words, Kyungi proudly took out his precious 10 tower coins and paid. Thank you, Kyungi. Kyueha Kyung. Haha, Dad, if you need anything, Kyungi will buy it all for you. At Sejun's words, Kyungi proudly shouted while patting his pocket money pouch. A little later. All right, I'll take this. After much deliberation at the lottery corner, Sejun chose a dull stone knife. Stone knife. Usage restriction, LV10. Maker anonymous. Grade C. There was no particular reason. He was simply drawn to it. Vice Chairman Theo, how's this? Sejun asked the golden pod Theo to confirm if he had chosen well. Puhu Hut, as expected of Chairman Park, meow, it's excellent, meow. Oh, it's excellent. I usually have bad luck though, this can't be right. Sejun was puzzled by Theo's praise. I'll find out soon enough. Aileen appraised this. Sejun sent the stone knife to Aileen. Black Tower Administrator's area. Kehiha, just wait a moment, Sejun. Aileen hurriedly appraised the stone knife Sejun had sent. Then, Earth Blade. The item's name changed. The description said it was a divine relic of Patrick, the god of Earth. What, this is a relic? As Aileen marveled at the Earth Blade. You have achieved one of the conditions for Black Tower's growth by collecting 5 divine relics. An alert appeared in the crystal orb. Due to the god of war battler, the condition had previously been unmet as divine relic was destroyed, but now it was fulfilled again. Kehihe, as expected of our Sejun, then the growth conditions. Originally, 7 conditions had been met, so that makes 8. F whoosh. All 8 conditions for the growth of the Black Tower have been met. The crystal orb glowed golden, signaling that the Black Tower's growth conditions were fully satisfied. Chapter 407, Sejun, I'm sorry. The Black Tower is starting its growth into the Great Black Tower. 10,000 days remain until the Great Black Tower's growth is complete. 10,000 days is roughly 30 years. For dragons, it's just enough time for one yawn, but what, it takes that long? I want to brag to our Sejun quickly. To Aileen, it was an unbearably long time. At that moment, you have created 13 more new varieties as part of the growth conditions for the Great Black Tower. The time needed for the Great Black Tower's growth is reduced by 3,900 days. You have raised one more world tree as part of the growth conditions for the Great Black Tower. The time needed for the Great Black Tower's growth is reduced by 1,000 days. You have achieved 2 more great accomplishments as part of the growth conditions for the Great Black Tower. The time needed for the Great Black Tower's growth is reduced by 4,000 days. The overachieved conditions significantly shorten the time needed for the Black Tower's growth. As a result, 100 days remain until the growth into the Great Black Tower is complete. The remaining time had been reduced by almost 90%. Sigh, but it's still a long time. While Aileen was disheartened. Tui ahe. Sylvia spat out the food she had tasted from Aileen's cooking, shuddering in disgust. Aileen took Sylvia to a secluded spot, insisting that she needed to have at least this level of cooking skill to be Sejun's wife, offering her more of her own food. Kehiha, she won't say she wants to marry Sejun after tasting my cooking, right? Aileen was confident in her cooking. After all, Sejun had never said it was bad. If this doesn't work, I'll have to take Sylvia Unnai to an even more secluded place. Aileen, Sylvia could never make something like this. I don't want to marry Park Sejun. Fortunately, Sylvia gave up on marrying Sejun just as Aileen intended. Park Sejun likes such terrible food, that's scary. Although Sylvia gave up for a different reason than Aileen had thought, the result was the same. Only Sejun was unfairly wronged. As Sylvia went to rinse her mouth with water. No matter how jealous Sylvia Unnai is, why would she spit out such delicious food? Having only taken a small bite, the food was still practically untouched. Aileen took a bite of the food Sylvia had left behind. Until now, Aileen had never tasted her own cooking, only feeding it to Sejun. She was deeply shocked after tasting her own cooking for the first time. This can't be, my cooking tastes this awful. PF do. Aileen hurriedly spat out the food. Queuing. Sejun, I'm sorry. Aileen felt both apologetic and grateful to Sejun, who had eaten her awful cooking until now. Is the appraisal not done yet? Sejun was eating lunch at the restaurant, waiting for Aileen. Blackie, try eating this, meow. Kyung. Blackie, you need to eat this to become stronger. Theo and Kyungi were enthusiastically taking care of the youngest. Ah, how annoying. I want to eat the roasted sweet potato snacks Sejun made. Of course, Blackie found their care annoying, but didn't show it and ate diligently whatever they gave him. He might get beaten again otherwise. After finishing lunch, Vice Chairman Theo take out the bag. Sejun instructed Theo to take out the bag of the legendary merchant wandering the 9 towers. Pew Hut got it, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo took out the bag. You said the bag is currently connected to the 72nd floor of the Purple Tower, right? That's right, meow. Let's use 500 billion tower coins to change the location first. Here. Sejun handed money to Theo. Change, meow. Theo put the money Sejun gave him into the bag and shouted. Then, Wulong. The bag glowed red, and then the light disappeared. Vice Chairman Theo, go in and check. Got it, meow. Theo entered the bag. 1 minute later. Chairman Park, this is the 30th floor of the Black Tower, meow. Complete failure. Who would have thought it would connect to the Black Tower? Let's change it one more time. Sejun handed Theo another 500 billion tower coins. Change, meow. Just like that, 1 trillion tower coins vanished in an instant. Vice Chairman Theo, go in and check again. Got it, meow. Theo went back into the bag. Chairman Park, this is the 1st floor of the Green Tower, meow. The 1st floor of the Green Tower. Coincidentally, Sejun had a land deed for the 1st floor of the Green Tower, which he had just received from Mason. And how's the surroundings? Is it dangerous? There's no one stronger than Chairman Park, meow. The scouting was perfectly completed. Really? No one stronger than me, huh? Then let's take a look around the 1st floor of the Green Tower. Guys, get inside for a moment. Sejun had everyone except Theo enter the void storage. Then, swoosh. Sejun disappeared as he unfolded the land deed for the 1st floor of the Green Tower. 1st floor of the Green Tower. Those who want to learn skills can come this way. Come check out the swords. Shields are better than swords. With this shield you can return alive. Selling potions that reduce magic power consumption. Like the 1st floor of the Black Tower, it was bustling with training centers where you could learn skills, and shops selling equipment and potions. However, I'm hungry. Is there any food on the ground? Black, round, furry creatures, hiding in the alley and peeking out, were scanning the ground for food scraps, not fitting in with the bustling atmosphere. At that moment, hey, you filthy refugees, how unlucky, get lost. I told you not to show your faces. A merchant selling swords spotted them and chased them away by throwing stones. We're sorry. The black, furry creatures, called refugees, were startled and apologized, then fled to another place rolling along. These creatures were from the Uraruk tribe, a race whose world had been consumed by destruction so quickly that they couldn't establish a strong presence in the tower and became its residents. However, while the tower accepts survivors, it doesn't guarantee their survival. And refugees refer to those who couldn't establish a place in the tower before their world perished. Such races, unable to settle, become refugees wandering the tower, either seizing land from other races or continuing to roam until they gradually disappear from the tower. They moved places and were chased away many times like that, and when evening came, they returned to a building on the outskirts of the 1st floor of the tower, which was their dwelling, carrying a few food scraps. It was an empty building, without an owner that they were using. The adults are back. As their parents arrived, the smaller Urarok children who had been hiding in the building ran out to greet them. "Mom, I'm hungry." "Here, eat this." The adults gave the food they had obtained with difficulty to their children. At that moment, whoosh, a bright light emanated from the center of the building as Sejun appeared. "You have arrived at the first floor of the Green Tower." "Where is this?" "It's not a farm." Sejun noticed the buildings around him. At that moment, who are you?" "Mom." Startled by the voice from beneath him, Sejun shouted. "Chairman Park, what's going on? Are these guys threatening you, meow?" Theo, who had clung to Sejun's knee without him noticing, drew his dragon claws and threatened the black furballs. We didn't do anything." Frightened by Theo's threats, the black furballs retreated. Vice Chairman Theo, put away your claws." Feeling embarrassed for being startled alone, Sejun calmed Theo and looked around at his feet. Hundreds of black furballs were huddled together, staring at Sejun with fearful eyes. "What is this? I look like a villain now." As Sejun felt troubled, a quest has appeared. Quest: deal with the Urarok tribe refugees illegally occupying the shop either by resolving it peacefully or reclaiming the land rights. Reward: recognition as the rightful owner of the shop on the first floor of the Green Tower. A quest appeared before Sejun. "So this is a shop. No wonder, I thought it was strange because of the building. But Urarok tribe refugees. Are you guys from the Urarok tribe?" When Sejun asked the black furballs, "Oh, do you know about the Urarok tribe?" "That's right, we are the Urarok tribe." The Urarok tribe members answered, delighted that they were recognized. "Okay, nice to meet you, but I'm the owner of this shop." As Sejun began to speak, the Urarok tribe members suddenly fell silent. "Oh right, they're refugees. Is it because they have nowhere else to go? Do you guys want to work here? There's no daily wage, but I'll provide you with room and board." As soon as Sejun realized this place was a shop, he thought of selling crops here. The shop wasn't very large, so it seemed like hearing about 30 people would be sufficient. Seeing the Urarok tribe clutching food scraps dearly, he thought this offer would be better than a wage. "We'll do it. Just tell us what to do." "Wow, we got a job." The Urarok tribe members cheered with tears in their eyes at Sejun's words. And then, drip, drip, black grime began to fall from their bodies. So they weren't originally black. "All right, Sejun Company's employees need to be clean, so let's start by washing up, land moving." Sejun went outside the shop and created a huge bathtub. Ice cube, ice cube. He filled the bathtub with large blocks of ice. Then, Iona heated up. Kaiwat, okay, fire." Iona, who had come out of the void storage and was hanging on Theo's tail, used fire magic as Sejun requested. The ice quickly melted into water, and steam started rising from it. "All right, quickly get in and wash." Sejun directed the Urarok tribe members to wash up. As the Urarok tribe entered the water, it quickly turned black. Ice cube. After changing the water several times, the Urarok tribe regained their original color. You guys were originally green." Seeing the green fur of the Urarok tribe, Sejun asked. "Yes, we haven't been able to wash recently." One of the Urarok tribe members scratched their head in embarrassment as they answered. "Recently probably means at least several years." At that moment, Kyung. Dad Kyungi finished roasting all the corn, sweet potatoes and potatoes. While Sejun was changing the bathwater for the Urarok tribe, Kyungi, who had been cooking, shouted, "All right, put down those scraps and eat this instead." Sejun handed the roasted sweet potatoes to the Urarok tribe, who were still holding onto the food scraps. "Thank you. It's really delicious." "Sejun Nim, you should eat too." As the Urarok tribe, Theo, Kyungi, Blackie, and Iona all enjoyed their dinner, Your soul is fulfilled from the Urarok tribe's outpouring of praise. Mental strength increases by 5. Hezeli. Sejun smiled contentedly while looking at the messages. Sejun Nim, aren't you going to eat? One of the Urarok tribe children handed a roasted potato to Sejun and asked. No, you guys eat plenty. I'm full just watching you eat. Sejun spoke while peeling the skin off the roasted potato and giving it to the baby Urarok next to him. A moment later, you have fed 530 members of the Urarok tribe until they were full. Due to the effect of tidal, Saint of feeding, all stats increase by 106. And I'm so full. As Sejun patted his belly with a satisfied expression, reading the message. Growl. A sound came from Sejun's stomach. Meow, Chairman Park, is your head broken? Eat this quickly, meow. Theo shoved the grilled fish he was eating into Sejun's mouth. MMFF. The next morning. Was there a shop there? No, there definitely was. Then is it newly opened? Let's go check it out. A new farming crops shop quietly opened on the first floor of the Green Tower. Chapter 408. I believe in you, Vice Chairman Theo. Marek, did you hear? A new store has opened in the empty building on the outskirts of the shopping street. Kyron, the owner of a shield shop, said to Marek, the owner of the sword shop next door. Really? Wasn't that the store that went out of business a few years ago? Yes, they opened a potion shop, but Luca lowered the potion prices by half, so they couldn't stay in business. So what are they selling this time? If they're selling items that overlap with ours, we should go and do something about it. No need for that, they're selling crops. At Marek's words, Luca, the owner of the potion shop, approached and said, What crops? Can they even pay the taxes selling those? Exactly, they'll go out of business soon. Should we place bets on how long it takes them to go bankrupt? While the merchants of the shopping street were betting on how many days it would take for Sejun's store to fail. Buy some crops. We sell delicious and effective crops. In front of Sejun's store, the voices of Urarok children promoting Sejun's store began to resonate. The children, wanting to help Sejun, who hired their parents, and their parents working at the store, took the initiative. The voices of the Urarok children, who had filled their stomachs with sweet pancakes and milk since morning, were very energetic. Thanks to this, even though it was on the outskirts of the shopping street, hunters, hearing the voices of the Urarok children, started to visit Sejun's store one by one. What is this? This is a crop called magical cherry tomato, which, when consumed, provides a boost for 10 minutes. In response to the hunters' questions from the Green Tower, the Urarok staff eagerly explained the effects of Sejun's crops. The hunters here looked similar to humans, but were quite different. They all had burly muscles and a single horn on their foreheads, regardless of gender. Being from a world called Neta, they were referred to as the Neta tribe in the tower. According to what the Urarok tribe told them, the Neta tribe maintained a healthy body throughout their lives, so they weren't very interested in dieting or cancer. Therefore, the crop prices were discounted compared to what was sold on Earth, a localization strategy, so to speak. Oh, this works better than the potions sold in stores. I'll take one of these and one of those. That'll be 5 tower coins. After hearing the staff's explanations, the hunters purchased some crops and left. Hey, I heard that the crops here taste better and work better than the nasty potions sold at the potion shop. Yeah, Elkias tried them and they really taste good. Soon, a huge crowd started gathering in front of Sejun's store. Thanks to the initial rush and the word spreading about the effectiveness of Sejun's crops among the hunters. And then, it's the taste. I need to focus on the taste. Watching the Neta tribe hunters, Sejun realized what he needed to use as a selling point. Kyungi, bring out the steamer. Kyung. Understood. So he started steaming corn, sweet potatoes, and potatoes in front of the store. As the crop steamed, a sweet aroma began to spread. And then, sniff, sniff, where that smell coming from? Wow, it smells really good. As the hunters in line looked around to find the source of the smell. Kids, come over here for a moment. Yes. Sejun called the Uraruk children and had them walk around with baskets of steamed crops, cherry tomatoes, and carrots. Of course, for selling. Heh, now that I've spread the smell so much, they'll naturally want to eat, right? Are you selling that? Yes. Can I have one? Me too, give me one. As Sejun predicted, the hunters, already captivated by the smell, bought Sejun's crops while waiting in line. Oh, this is really delicious. This one boosts stamina. This tangy cherry tomato boosts magic power. Eating deliciously, they decided which crops to purchase. As Sejun's store was bustling with customers from the very first day. Thud, thud. A hunter, towering ahead above the others and carrying two giant axes strapped in an X shape on his back, tried to enter Sejun's store, ignoring the long line. However, Kyung, not allowed, you have to line up. Kyungi, who was promised 2 5-star stamps later, was guarding the entrance with a somewhat intimidating face. What, you dare to me, the great twin axe Cran? Enraged by Kyungi's obstruction, Cran tried to raise his momentum, but Kyung, if you keep disobeying, you'll be in trouble. I understand, I'll get in line. Under Kyungi's fierce aura, Cran quickly became a meek lamb. Meow, what a pity, meow. Theo, who had been waiting for a chance to make the official first slave of the Green Tower, looked regretfully at Cran, who obediently backed down. But, thud, thud, the opportunity to make a slave soon arrived. Tirahaha, there's a new store starting business here. Let's collect some rent. Tell the owner to come out. A giant green troll came looking for Sejun. A short while later. Why did you want to see me? Hug. Kyung. Kaiwo. What is this? Krrta, the youngest member of the immortal clan, was bewildered by the beings surrounding him. Each one exuded an unusual aura. Especially the three, excluding the owner, emitted such a murderous aura that his legs trembled and cold sweat broke out. How dare you show hostility to me, a member of the immortal clan? Do you all want to die? Despite his fear, Krrta tried to act tough. In this world, the loudest voice often wins. You're noisy, meow. Chairman Park, let's teach him a lesson, meow. Kyung. You dared to show hostility to my dad. Kyungi is angry. And in this world, the strong one is the law. Thwack. Krrta saw something pink flash before his eyes and lost consciousness. Hut, the first slave of the Green Tower, meow. Thunk. Theo lifted the unconscious Krrta's thumb and stamped the slave contract. You have gained 1 slave. All stats increased by 0.01 due to the effect of the title, Slave King. Thanks to this, Sejun's stats also increased. Since he's interfering with business, Kyungi, move him behind the store for now. Kyung. Got it. At Sejun's words, Kyungi grabbed one of Krrta's legs and dragged him away. Black Tower's administrator area. Kehiha, what is our Sejun doing? Aileen, who had resolved not to give Sejun any more food until she could cook something decent herself, was looking for him. However, Krung. Even after searching the entire Black Tower, she couldn't find Sejun. Where did he go? Search for the mid-level administrator. When Aileen used the crystal orb to locate Sejun. Searching for the location of the Black Tower's mid-level administrator. The location of the Black Tower's mid-level administrator has been found. The Black Tower's mid-level administrator is currently on the first floor of the Green Tower. The location appeared in the crystal orb. Krung. Why is Sejun at the Green Tower? King, don't tell me he ran away because of my cooking. Sejun, I'm sorry, come back. Aileen hurriedly tried to contact Sejun. About 30 minutes after the troll came. You bastard, how dare you mess with a member of the Immortal Clan? The squad leader of the Immortal Clan having received a report that their youngest member had been attacked, appeared with 3 subordinates. Pushuhut, welcome meow. Thud. Of course, they became good prey for Theo the slave hunter. You have gained 3 slaves. All stats increase by 0.03 due to the effect of the title, Slave King. Sejun's stats also benefited greatly. Drag. This time, Kyungi moved the trolls to the back of the store in 2 trips. 1 hour later. You bastard, how dare you mess with the immortal clan? 101 trolls appeared, disrupting business. What's going on? Guys, suppress them for now. Sejun, angry at the trolls for disrupting his business, gave instructions. Let's teach them a lesson, meow. Kyung. Kaiwo. The trolls were quickly dealt with. Ukta, immortal clan's mid-boss. Leaving just 1. There was something to ask. Do you bastards know who's backing our immortal clan? Yeah, I'm not interested. Why are you boasting about connections? I have connections with the dragons. But why are you interfering with our business? Sejun ignored Ukta's words and asked what he was curious about. What, that's because. Ukta momentarily lost his words at Sejun's question. It's because you didn't pay the rent. So you're saying I need to pay rent? That's right. This is my land, why should I pay a rent? You still have to pay. If you don't, you won't be able to survive in the Green Tower. What? The person backing our immortal clan is one of the power players of this Green Tower. We're just managing below the 50th floor of the tower according to that person's orders. Power player, what floor is this power player from? From the 93rd floor. Ukta answered with a proud expression at Sejun's question. Why are you so proud? However, that's nothing. For Sejun, who mingled daily with those from the 99th floor, it was truly nothing. What? How dare you call the 93rd floor nothing? Thwack. Sejun knocked Ukta out, who was getting agitated, by hitting the back of his head. You bastard. Oh, he didn't pass out. Kyung. Thwack. He. At Sejun's call, Kyungi struck Ukta's head with the staff of justice. That must hurt. You should have just fainted when I hit you. As Sejun looked at Ukta, who had passed out after being hit by Kyungi, with pity. Thunk. You have gained 1 slave. All stats increased by 0.01 due to the effect of the title, Slave King. Theo took Ukta's stamp. Shortly after, the sky grew dark. Kids, good job, eat dinner and rest. Sejun closed the store. Sejun Nim, here's today's earnings. The Uraruk tribe brought the money earned from selling crops to Sejun. 31,213 tower coins. There were many customers, but they didn't make a huge profit. Guys, come here. You worked hard today, so I'll give you some pocket money. Compared to what he was earning these days, it was really a small amount, so Sejun gave the money to the Uraruk children who had worked hard on the promotion. He then added some money to buy a building worth 500 million tower coins in a residential area where the Uraruk tribe could live. After purchasing the building, on the way back to the store. Good job today, see you tomorrow. Sejun saw Netta race people leaving the tower. Could that be the exit of the Green Tower? Sejun suddenly became curious. Can I go out through there too? So he cautiously approached the exit. However, you are not a being protected by the Green Tower. You cannot use the Green Tower's exit. You need special permission from the Green Tower administrator to leave. Messages appeared, and an invisible wall blocked Sejun. Special permission from the Green Tower administrator. If it's the Green Tower administrator, Brachionim. I guess I shouldn't leave then. Although Sejun was curious about the outside, it wasn't worth meeting Brachio. At that moment, the Black Tower's administrator is tearfully saying it's all her fault and is pleading for you to return quickly. Why is Aileen acting like that all of a sudden? He didn't know what was going on, but It seemed like he needed to return quickly. However, if I just leave, the Immortal Clan and that so-called power player won't leave things alone. Leaving immediately was concerning because of the Urarok tribe. Vice Chairman Theo, I'll tell Ophelia to send some subordinates here. Until then, please protect the store and the Urarok tribe. So he asked Theo, who could come and go using his bag. Meow, you're leaving me behind, Meow. I don't want to, Meow, take me with you, Meow. Naturally, Theo refused. But Sejun had a few cheat keys to handle Theo. I believe in you, Vice Chairman Theo. Pew Hut, leave it to me, Vice Chairman Theo, Meow. Chairman Park said he believes in me, Meow. With just those words from Sejun, Theo's expression changed. Chapter 409, Pew Hut. Net a tribe, then let's start the auction, Meow. You have arrived at the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Home. Sejun used the dragon horn's return bracelet and arrived in front of his house. This time, the return magic activated at the absolute coordinate, bringing him directly to the 99th floor of the Black Tower instead of the 99th floor of the Green Tower. Thus, Sejun arrived at the Black Tower. Aileen, what's going on? He hurriedly called for Aileen. The tower's administrator says that she will no longer give you her bad-tasting food anymore, so please don't run away. What? Really? No way. Aileen's cooking isn't bad. It's edible. And I didn't run away because of Aileen's cooking, but because of the land deed of the first floor of the Green Tower in Theo's bag. Sejun hurriedly covered up his true feelings that came out without him, realizing and explained in detail to Aileen why he had gone to the Green Tower. The tower's administrator says she's glad you didn't run away to the Green Tower because of her cooking. Right, Aileen, with you here, why would I run to another tower? Sejun reassured the anxious Aileen. The tower's administrator is depressed, saying she only now realized her cooking tastes bad. Yeah, you finally realized. It still tastes better than the food Auric brings, though. Sejun, feeling relieved, comforted Aileen. Haha, let's not let Aileen cook anymore. Just enjoy the food I make. He pretended to be sad and bowed his head to hide the grin that was creeping up on his face. However, the tower's administrator is burning with determination to practice cooking harder and make delicious food for you. Contrary to Sejun's expectations, Aileen did not give up on cooking. Okay, I'll look forward to it. Sejun encouraged Aileen with a slightly gloomy voice. There's always the option of not cooking. After finishing his conversation with Aileen, Ophelia come out. He called for Ophelia. It was to ask her to dispatch subordinates to the first floor of the tower. The Green Tower's slave asks what's the matter. Send some decent subordinates to the first floor of the Green Tower. She asks what's happening on the first floor of the tower. I've opened a shop on the first floor, so I need bodyguards to protect the shop and the Urarok tribe working there. He omitted the part about the power player on the 93rd floor of the tower. He couldn't afford to lose a good source of stats. The Green Tower slave says not to worry. The Green Tower slave says she will send useful subordinates. Thus Ophelia, having received Sejun's request. Human, in the end, you're seeking help from the capable and great green dragon Ophelia Iorg, but who should I send? Pleased with the request, Ophelia pondered over whom to send to the first floor of the tower. She is a great green dragon. Sending weak subordinates would tarnish her reputation. All right, I've decided, you guys. Ophelia sent the bosses of the 99th, 98th, and 97th floors of the tower to the first floor simultaneously. Since they were sent using transportation magic, there was no uproar like the Black Minotaur's incident in the Black Tower. First floor of the Green Tower. Thud, thud, thud. The bosses, following Ophelia's orders, arrived in front of Sejun's shop. Meow, you've arrived, Meow. Welcome, Meow. I am Theo Park, the legendary merchant and the deadly dragon-clawed golden cat subordinate of the great black dragon, Meow. Theo, who had been waiting for Ophelia's subordinates, greeted them warmly and introduced himself. I am Agni, the fire demon and the boss of the 99th floor. I am Cerberus, the demon hound and the boss of the 98th floor. I am Egil, the saintess of destruction and the boss of the 97th floor. The bosses also introduced themselves too. But can't you reduce your body size, meow? Just the three of them standing was enough to block the view of the shop. We can. I can too. Me too. The bosses shrank their bodies to a size similar to Theo's. Pew Pew Hut, good meow. What can you guys do, meow? I am good with fire. F whoosh. At Theo's question, Agni confidently answered while breathing out fire. Pew Pew Hut, good meow. Agni, from now on you'll roast sweet potatoes, and corn, meow. Yes. Thus, Theo turned the 99th floor boss into a roasted sweet potato vendor. I am good at biting. Cerberus, guard the entrance, meow. I am good at beating people up and can also heal. Pew Pew Hut, good meow. Egil, you will heal people for money, meow. Cerberus was assigned as a guard and Egil as a healer. Pew Pew Hut, Chairman Park said he believes in me, meow. I'll make this shop the highest grossing shop in the Green Tower, meow. A huge commotion was occurring in the Green Tower because of Sejun's single sentence that he believes in Theo. What is this? Ophelia Nim told us to listen to that cat named Theo, so we're listening, but... While the bosses who had come as bodyguards were puzzled by their new employment at the shop. Pew Pew Hut, these are the Uraruk tribe members who work at our shop, meow. Protect them well, meow. Theo introduced the Uraruk tribe to the bosses. Hello. Yes, nice to meet you. While the bosses and the Uraruk tribe greeted each other. Then take care and work hard, meow. Theo greeted them and opened his bag to return to the Black Tower. The next morning. All right. When Sejun opened his eyes, the seal on the Earth's jewel has been broken. Toga, the god of stones, sealed in the Earth's jewel, is released from the seal. Toga, the god of stones, repays the favor to the one who broke his seal. Toga, the god of stones, repays the favor by creating a stone field on 3.3 square meters of land. A message appeared. What? How is a stone field a repayment? Meow. Sejun, with Theo who had returned early in the morning attached on his lap, went outside to find the stone field. He found the stone field more easily than expected, because the stones reflecting sunlight were shimmering in various colors. Should I call them gemstones? The gemstones were larger than gem pebbles. The larger the stones, the more expensive they are. Thank you, Toganim. Sejun collected the gemstones and Toga rode. Toga, the god of stones who repaid us with heavy gemstones. He was a great god. He created a 6.6 square meters Toga road, twice the size of the path where the gemstones had been. After creating the path, Aileen, how did the appraisal of the stone knife I asked for last time go? Sejun asked Aileen while strolling through the farm. The tower's administrator says you seem to have talent in drawing too. Is that so? Sejun, unaware that the item he had drawn was a divine relic, laughed. The tower's administrator says to be careful as it's heavy. Okay. Thud. As Sejun answered, a stone knife appeared in front of him and got stuck in the ground. Earth Blade. Oh, the name itself gives off a certain vibe. Sejun hurriedly tried to lift the handle of the Earth Blade. But it didn't budge. What's going on? Sejun had no choice but to check the options of the sword embedded in the ground. Earth Blade. A divine relic used by Patrick, the god of Earth, in battle. Because it was made by compressing an entire abandoned dimension into a blade, it is extremely heavy. By infusing magic power, it can be enlarged as desired. When planted in the ground, it recharges with the power of the earth, allowing the use of the power, Earth Blade. Current usable time, 0.3 seconds. Usage restriction, one who is favored by the earth, strength 50,000 or more. Creator, Patrick, the god of earth. Grade. So it was a divine relic, But was this made for me to use? A strength of 50,000 or more. He felt he might need to have a word with Patrick when they met later. I'll just leave it planted. Anyway, the more it recharges with the power of the earth, the better, so Sejun decided to leave the earth blade as it was. It's convenient. I don't have to worry about anyone stealing it. It was unlikely for there to be a thief on the 99th floor of the tower, but Sejun pretended to be cool for no reason. Leaving the earth blade behind, Sejun headed to the kitchen to make breakfast. A short while later, Kyung. Dad, good morning. Kaying. I'm hungry. Kyungi and Blackie came into the kitchen together, getting along well. All right, let's eat. They deliciously ate the stir-fried sausages that Sejun had prepared. After breakfast, Kyungi is going to check the herbs. Kyungi packed a lunchbox and left for the western forest. Kirorong. Fenrir went back to sleep. And then, Hut, Chairman Park, just trust me, meow. Huh? Trust you with what? Theo boasted loudly, opened his bag and left for the Green Tower. Green Tower, first floor. When it was opening time, Sejun's shop door opened. Give me 10 roasted sweet potatoes and 100 cherry tomatoes. I want 10 steamed corns. Netta tribe hunters, who had skipped breakfast and waited for the shop to open, handed over their money and placed their orders. In just one day, Sejun's shop had become the hottest spot on the first floor of the Green Tower. Fortunately, thanks to the high-powered cook hired in a hurry yesterday, they were able to handle the flood of orders. At that moment, if you are injured, come here for treatment. A pretty Nuna will treat you. Uraruk tribe children promoted the newly established clinic next to the shop. Soon after, one hunter entered the treatment center, and a line began forming in front of it. It's still not enough, meow. Theo watched the hunters from the shop roof, lost in thought. This won't make it the best shop in the Green Tower, meow. At that moment, didn't you get your ear bitten off yesterday while catching a locust? Go get it treated. Should I? Theo overheard the hunter's conversation with his keen ears. And then, locust, meow. Theo, having overheard the conversation, came up with a way to dramatically boost the shop's sales. Thinking about it, the hunters here must also be dealing with locust invasions. But what about Earth? Hut, thanks to the great Chairman Park, there are none, meow. So the most needed thing here would be, of course, it's the sturdy blade green onions overflowing in the warehouse, meow. Currently, with locusts completely eradicated on Earth, there was no demand for the sturdy blade green onions, leaving the warehouse full of them. A lot of stock has piled up recently. I can sell them here, meow. I'm so smart, meow. Praising himself, Theo took out the green onions from his bag. Netta tribe, aren't you troubled by locusts, meow? Hut, you don't worry if you have this, meow. He shouted towards the hunters. Locusts were a disaster threatening their world. The hunters' attention was immediately focused on Theo. Hut, let me tell you, this is the sturdy blade green onion that made the locusts invading Earth go extinct, meow. When Theo spoke while shaking the sturdy blade green onions. What? You're saying that little grass made locusts go extinct? Liar, do you even know what locusts eat? The hunters shouted angrily. Silence, meow. Doggy, tell them to quiet down, meow. Theo looked at Cerberus, the demon hound, guarding the entrance, and spoke. Grrr. Cerberus grew larger and growled at the hunters. Under the pressure of the immense power, the hunters quickly quieted down. This is the sturdy blade green onion recognized by the great Chairman Park and the great green dragon, Ophelia, meow. Theo continued to promote. Ophelia had never seen the sturdy blade green onion, but since she's Chairman Park's slave, I can use her name, meow. Theo casually mentioned Ophelia's name together. As Theo's explanation ended. What, the great green dragon? If that's the case, can we see the options first? Hut, take a look, meow. The hunters started checking the options of the green onions. A little while later. So how much is this? Hunters, now interested in the sturdy blade green onions, asked for the price. Pew hut, net a tribe, then let's start the auction, meow. Theo shouted with a smile. Chapter 410, I Need a Core. Downtown Houston, USA. Kiag. The city was filled with flesh eaters. Despite the efforts of 100,000 hunters fighting the flesh eaters, the defensive line, which had barely been maintained, eventually collapsed due to the uneliminated seeds of the flesh eaters. As soon as the evacuation of 7 million citizens of Houston was completed, the hunters retreated according to a pre-planned retreat operation. White House, USA. Mr. President, the hunters' retreat operation has just been completed. The Secretary of Defense reported to the President. I see. What are the casualties? During the operation, 125 hunters and 1,129 soldiers died. The damage is greater than expected. That's because mutant individuals suddenly appeared. Mutant individuals? Yes, please take a look at the screen. The Secretary of Defense played a video on his tablet. The screen showed thousands of monsters with human-like bodies and cherry tomato heads attacking the hunters and soldiers. Unlike the flesh eaters, their movement speed was so fast that even the hunters and soldiers had difficulty responding. Fortunately, the mutated entities die on their own over time, and they don't have seeds in their heads. That's a relief, so where are they moving now? The flesh eaters that have occupied Houston are splitting up and moving along the coastline to the east and west. Then to the east is Louisiana, and to the west is Mexico. Yes, so we plan to set up a defensive line in Lafayette, Louisiana, to buy time and send mage hunters to the tower. What? You couldn't stop them with 100,000 hunters, and now you want to send mages to the tower? Are you crazy? The President erupted in anger at the Secretary of Defense's words. Mr. President, please calm down. We must send the mages to the tower in order to defeat them. The Secretary of Defense hurriedly reported the information about the newly emerged job, the bomb mage, from the tower. So, they're selling pineapple bombs cultivated by Park Sejun in the tower. Yes, that's correct. The President wore an expression of utter disbelief. The Secretary of Defense swallowed his laughter as he answered. He himself had only believed it after seeing the pineapple bombs firsthand. The effect is certain, right? Yes, within a 50-meter radius of the explosion, even the seeds of the flesh eaters are turned to powder. The Secretary of Defense further explained the job traits that could be obtained by becoming a bomb mage. Explosion is art. Inject mana into bombs to increase explosion range and power by 10%. Bomb timer installs a timer magic on bombs to schedule explosion within 10 minutes. Precision bomb throwing increases bomb throwing accuracy by 20%. All right, proceed, and make sure to secure as many pineapple bombs as possible. Yes, sir. The United States began moving to secure screaming pineapples. Pew hut. I'll sell a total of 10 million sturdy blade green onions, 100,000 at a time, meow. 10 million tower coins for 100,000. 15 million tower coins. At Theo's words, the hunters of the Netta tribe began to competitively raise their bids. There was no hesitation since the sturdy blade green onions were certified by the Great Green Dragon to eradicate the locusts. 19.1 million tower coins. 19.3 million tower coins. 20 million tower coins. After the final bid, when no one else raised their bid. Sold, meow. Theo pointed his front paw at the hunter, who made the final bid and shouted. Woohoo, long live the deer tribe. The deer tribe won. With Theo's words, some of the hunters cheered. In Netta, there were hundreds of subtribes so large that they could be called nations. And the recent auction was like a national competition for them. Since they won, it was natural for them to cheer. 19.3 million tower coins. Sold meow. As the auction continued, and the bids began to decrease slightly. Are they really selling something that can eradicate the locusts here? What the hell? Why is the tiger tribe here? And why is the lion tribe loitering around here? Hunters from two tribes approached the shop, growling at each other. They had descended from the upper floors upon hearing the news of the auction. When the two tribes appeared, other hunters stepped aside to make room for them. This alone indicated the formidable presence of the tiger tribe and the lion tribe. Let's start again, meow. When the auction resumed, 19 million, 30 million, 40 million. Representatives of the two tribes began to raise the bids like madmen. 50 million. Cuck 55 million. EX 60 million. The representatives of the two tribes glared at each other while calling out their bids. Other tribes dared not intervene in the pride battle between the tiger tribe and the lion tribe, and watched with bated breath. And then, hee. Theo also smiled brightly, covering his mouth with his front paw as he looked at the two tribes. Pewhut, the big suckers have arrived, meow. A moment later, it sold out, meow. All the remaining sturdy blade green onions were sold to the tiger tribe and the lion tribe, earning 3.6 billion tower coins. Pewhut, as expected, auctions are the way to make money, meow. Though by Theo's standards, it was still far from sufficient revenue. It was almost 120,000 times higher compared to the shop's sales yesterday. I should reinvest this money, meow. Chairman Park said he believes in me, meow. To repay Chairman Park's trust, I need more money, meow. While Theo was contemplating how to use the 3.6 billion tower coins. Hey, next time, hand over all the goods to our tiger tribe. The tiger tribe's representative, Theseus, approached Theo with a menacing expression, threatening him. Pewhut, did you just threaten me, Vice Chairman Theo, meow? That's right. Hand over all the sturdy blade green onions while I'm being nice. Pewhut. Smack. Theo laughed and swung his front paw at the back of Theseus's head. Just because they were both felines didn't mean he would go easy on him. Then, Lord Theseus. Other tigers rushed towards Theo. Smack, smack. Theo delightedly struck the back of their heads. And then, stamp, stamp. He began stamping them. 99th floor of the Black Tower. You have gained 1 slave. All stats increase by 0.01 due to the effect of the title, Slave King. What's going on? Was this what he meant by trusting only him? Thanks, Vice Chairman Theo. Sejun smiled contentedly as he watched his stats increase. Plug. You have harvested a cherry. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 1 experience point. Sejun harvested the cherries. Recently, due to the Earth's jewels depleting the land's fertility, about 10% of the fruits that grew rapidly with the harvest elixir were underdeveloped. So he harvested them belatedly like this. I should use some power soon. Sejun thought he should use the power, abundance on the land soon while continuing to harvest cherries. At that moment, you have harvested scorching cherries. Your job experience has slightly increased. Your proficiency in harvesting LV8 has slightly increased. You have gained 70 experience points. Scorching cherries. Sejun had harvested a cherry with a prefix attached. You have achieved the feat of creating a new variety in the tower. The tower acknowledges your exclusive cultivation rights to the new variety. No one can cultivate scorching cherries without your permission. Your job experience has increased greatly. Due to your job trait, all stats increase by 10. Sejun had harvested his 24th new variety. Oh, a new variety. Sejun hurriedly checked the options of the cherry. Scorching cherry. A cherry grown inside the Black Tower. It is delicious as it has absorbed ample nutrients. The seed contains the energy of fire, and it will explode and burns hotly when magic is infused. When consumed, it provides strong resistance to cold for 1 hour. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Shelf life, 120. Grade A. Although the options were somewhat impractical, Sejun decided to be satisfied with having another new variety. At least it tastes better. Heh, I should duplicate it and plant them tomorrow. While Sejun was putting the harvested cherry into the golden box of abundance. Kaying, who touched my secret stash again? Blackie tilted his head as he looked at his secret stash. Not only was the first secret stash filled with food, but the second one was also packed with food. Theo, Kyungi, and Peacebees had filled the youngest secret stash. However, did someone confuse it with another storage? Kikihit Kaying. Hehe, then I'll eat it all and pretend I don't know. Unaware of this, Blackie started eating the food diligently in case it was taken back. But, Kaying, I'm full. Compared to his overflowing greed, his stomach was pitifully small. This won't do, I need a core. Up until now, Blackie hadn't made a core, thinking he would find his own core eventually. Because if he made a new core, there would be a conflict between the two cores when he found his original core later. But now, he didn't want to find his original core anymore. If he found his core, he wouldn't be able to play with them or eat roasted sweet potatoes. Now he liked this place more. No, saying he liked it more was strange. Because, when he was an apostle of destruction, his heart was always full of anger. He had never been happy. But here, even just sleeping in his arms made him excited, so he decided to make a new core. Having made up his mind to create a new core. Kaying, gather. The food he had just eaten quickly digested and formed a tiny core the size of a grain of sand. Kikihit Kaying Kaying. Kehe, I have a core now, I can eat a lot. Blackie began to grow the size of the core by repeatedly eating and absorbing food. Super Sunfish Blackie trying to surpass Sunfish Sejun. But, Blackie, who said you could snack before meals. Sunfish Sejun wouldn't just let it slide. Kaying, where did you learn to run away with food in your mouth? Come here. Sejun yelled and slowly chased after Blackie. Kikihit Kaying Kaying. Hehe, with a core my steps are light, he can't catch up to me. Unaware of this, Blackie was happy thinking he had outrun Sejun. First floor of the Green Tower. Pew Hut, do you have a wandering merchant association here too, meow? Theo, pondering how to increase his wealth, asked while grilling fish with the fire emanating from Agni's body. Yes, we do. There's also a wizard association and a mercenary association. Pew Hut, excellent, meow. Shortly after, slaves 1 to 105 gather, meow. Theo, having finished grilling the fish, went outside and called the trolls. Yes. In response to Theo's call, trolls from slave 1 to slave 105 gathered. Line up in order from slave 1, meow. Yes. At Theo's command, the trolls quickly lined up, with KRRTA, the youngest of the immortal clan and slave 1, standing at the very front. Is this a case of the youngest being in charge? KRRTA felt proud to be at the front, having surpassed his seniors, and looked at Theo with respect. I am now in Theonim's team. While KRRTA pledged his loyalty to Theo in his heart. Pew Hut, from now on, you will become wandering merchants, meow. Slave number 1 will manage the money as the representative, meow. Theo gave KRRTA, the representative, money to join the Wandering Merchant Association. Theo planned to turn the trolls into wandering merchants to promote Sejun's crops in the Green Tower. Pew Hut, now go, meow. Theo sent the trolls off. Chairman Park, I'm back, meow. And returned to the Black Tower for the night.